Galimera, Galimera, Galimera. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Now, this is my fourth attempt to get a broadcast going this morning. I don't know what's going on, but things are just not running as smoothly as what they normally do. Normally, I'd be showing you pictures of the real estate, how the weather looks and everything else like that. But for some reason, my camera keeps freezing and my broadcast keeps freezing when I try to do my normal format. So I'm not sure what's going on, but to be honest, there's been a lot of things going on in the last 24 hours. Obviously, after the fallout from yesterday, and basically, I just want to really get down and get the news out because, again, we are living in, and as you've noticed from my little title, disappointing times, all right, at the moment. Right, first of all, then, just to let you know that the weather today is lovely. It's warm sunshine. Amanda sent me a weather forecast last night. She said, morning, Ginge. A full day of lovely warm sunshine, highs of 25, but will feel like 30. Enjoy the day. And she also is starting a new job in Zakynthos. When I was doing my live broadcast yesterday, the lovely Amanda said that she'd lost her job up in Ali Kanaz in a hotel because they basically had to stop operating because of the fact that the UK has stayed on the amber list and didn't go to green. So again, all their bookings basically stopped. 100 people that were booked, cancellations all round. So anyway, well done, Amanda. At least you managed to find another job anyway, which is good news from that perspective. I was worried that when Jane would go to work and come back, she'd tell me, guess what? They've stopped me working now because basically there's nobody coming. But anyway, Jane's still working and she's at the airport today meeting some flights. And interestingly, it's going to be interesting to see how the flights pan out today. This is what we're expected to get today. One flight from Germany, from Stuttgart, so that's not bad. One flight from France, from Paris, that should turn up. We've got two flights from the Netherlands, both from Amsterdam. We've also got one flight from Luton with EasyJet. We also have one flight from Gatwick, which is EasyJet. We also have one flight from London's Heathrow, which is a British Airways flight. And we also have one flight from the UK, again, which is a Bristol, from Bristol, which is an EasyJet. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens and what transpires with these flights now that are coming, basically now that they know that Greece is still in the amber at the moment. So again, we shall wait and see what happens. Jane is actually meeting some of these flights tonight at the airport. So that'll be interesting to see what transpires there. And I'll have more details for you tomorrow morning. Okay, COVID in the last 24 hours. Well, to be honest, COVID infections yesterday were actually down on the day before. Yesterday, there was 1,112, which was down on the 1,239 across the country. As for cases being detected on entry into the country, that number is up. 5 new cases were detected, where on the last report, there was only 1 detected. Now, according to the national stats at the moment, new cases at the moment on the islands, 1 new case on Lefkada, no new cases recorded in Kefalonia, only 8 new cases recorded in Corfu, which is quite good news, actually. And also for Zakynthos, 1 new case recorded on Zakynthos, nothing mentioned locally. So at the moment, technically now, we've had 1 infection for the month of June. All right. But we'll be keeping our eyes on close to that. Once again, just to remind you, the way that the stats are picked up, if somebody tests positive, it's the AMCA number that they're registered with. And if they have an AMCA number registered to Zakynthos, even though they're working maybe in Athens or Thessaloniki or somewhere away from Zakynthos, the score goes on our door. All right. So it might not be somebody who's actually here that has put that 1 mark up on our list for this month. But anyway, that's a little anomaly that runs in the system for taking the stats. When it comes to deaths at the moment, unfortunately, the death rate is down slightly. Yesterday, I did report 39 new deaths across the country. Death rate has dropped slightly to 34 new deaths across the country. Once again, our condolences to those families that are affected. That brings the death toll across the country since the pandemic started to 12,218. The average age of those people, 79 years of age. 96% of those had underlying health conditions or were over the age of 70. When it comes to critical cases at the moment, critical cases have also dropped, and quite significantly over the last few days. At the moment, it's 476 was the last number that I gave you. At the moment, it's 445 new cases who are in ICUs. That is 275 male and 170 female people who have actually now in ICUs across the country. Once again, just to remind you that the cutoff number is 900. That is how many beds Greece is set up for. So obviously you can see that the system is not really under any extreme pressure at the moment. Right, today's news then, for me, disappointing news. I've got to be honest. Not only did we have the fact that the Ireland is still in amber and Greece is still in amber. Well, yesterday afternoon, it was revealed that the Committee of Experts has postponed changes regarding music in venues, private gathering numbers, and any relaxation of curfew times until the end of next week to ensure that the recent improvement in the epidemiology situation is sustained. It is, however, expected that the music venues will not be allowed to have anything until the 1st of July. And I like the way it's said at the end of it, all being well. No, not all being well. I want the music ban to be lifted. I technically now cannot go back to work, and it looks like I'll be looking until the 1st of July to see what will happen. But at the moment, there is another meeting due next week, and I'm hoping that maybe some common sense will now start to reign, and that basically venues will be allowed to have music. Also, people will be allowed to go inside of venues. The curfew is extended to past 12:30. In fact, get rid of the curfew. Let people have a proper holiday, especially those who are lucky enough to get here. And those people who've decided, sod it, I'm still coming, and I'm going to sit it out for 90 days. And a lot of I've heard are people, shall we say, who are retired, to people who are in that position who are deciding to come on holiday and do that. But anyway, I've got more information on that coming up. Also, as well, there's growing concern on the island of Rhodes due to the continuing high levels and the daily new infections that the effect it will have on the tourist season. At the moment, it seems that people in Rhodes are not taking up the vaccine. And again, as you know, I haven't taken up the vaccine. So it's people, it's their right if they want to have it or not. But anyway, the Deputy Mayor of Tourism for Rhodes, Kostas Taralas, has appealed to residents to be vaccinated in order to build the desired wall of immunity. Expressing the anxiety for the development of the tourist season, Rhodes is in the high preferences of the European holidaymakers. Anyway, but the fate, this was a word that caught me out this morning, but the fate of Rhodesian tourism. Yeah, that's what the people in Rhodes call themselves. They call them Rhodesians. I'm thinking back to the other Rhodesia of years ago. Anyway, the fate of Rhodesian tourism is in the hands of others. Everyone must show individual responsibility. Listen, if people don't want to have it, they're not going to have it, all right? That's the bottom line of it. And again, if your island is having a high infection rate, well, you're going to have to live with it. If people have freedom of choice, they have the vaccine if they want it. And it seems like the people on Rhodes are saying, well, you know what? I'd rather hang on and I'd rather wait. Don't forget, the people who are coming on holiday, have been tested and they're supposed to be negative before they arrive. Also, as well, the people coming on holiday may have already had the vaccine as well. So again, there's no threat coming if they've had the vaccine. And don't forget, the vaccine doesn't stop the spread of the virus. The vaccine only helps you if you catch it to fight the effects of it. So from that point of view, people are coming on holiday, they'll take their chances, they will make a decision, an adult grown-up decision. You ranting to your local people to have the vaccination because somehow you're letting everybody down by not having it. As far as I'm concerned, people have been lied to on this score. Yeah, they've had the vaccine and still they don't have the freedom. They still don't have the freedom to move about. So again, I shall be watching you very closely, Rhodes, to see how you actually fare in this and whether we're going to have compulsory vaccination in Rhodes coming in or trying to be sneaked in through the back door because things don't suit you at the moment. Well, we'll wait and see on that. Right. Meanwhile, getting back to British holiday companies at the moment, Jet2 and Jet2holidays, the UK's second largest travel group, is moving the date of resumption of its programmes now till the 1st of July, just in time for when the music starts again in bars by the sounds of it. The UK government's latest decision on a list of tourist destinations under the traffic light system to restart international travel. For Turkey, which remains on the British government's red list, this date goes even further back till the 22nd of July, which is even later than last year. Anyway, the only major tourist destination for Jet2 that was on the British government's green list is Portugal, and that is now obviously being moved to the orange list as of next week, while 7 countries have been moved to the red list. Now, the majority of European short-haul destinations, which accounts for most of Jet2's holidays product, remain in the orange, meaning passengers are returning to the UK from the orange destination and must remain in a 10-day quarantine at home, as well as having 2 further COVID tests, plus a test before they even allowed to leave the destination they're at to get back to the UK as well. Anyway, prior to this development, Jet2 had decided to start programmes from the 24th of June. And the announcement it made early in April following the publication of the Global Travel Task Force's findings. Now, commenting on this unfortunate development, Steve Heppy, the managing director of Jet2 Group, confirmed that both companies will postpone their restart until the 1st of July, with the exception of the UK territory of Jersey, where it will start on the 24th of June as planned. Now, he said, we know how disappointed for our customers and our travel agency partners are that today's announcement and share their concerns and frustrations. The UK government has repeatedly stated that it makes decisions based on the infection and the vaccination rates, but many destinations still remain off the green list despite low COVID cases and high vaccination rates. Greece being one of them. Anyway, he also added he does not understand, since the government's criteria for the decision making on travel are applied, why most destinations across Europe and the Mediterranean do not open for their British holidaymakers. Yeah, we don't understand either. And we're here. Anyway, he says we are calling for local transparency in terms of data so that travellers and industry can truly understand what leads to these decisions. We agree that public health must be the first priority. However, despite all the evidence that that travel can be safely restarted, the United Kingdom remains largely excluded while the rest of Europe opens up. According to the travel agency, its customers who had planned their holidays to orange destinations between the 1st and the 21st of July are allowed to modify their bookings free of charge. So thanks for doing that, Jet2, that you are now making it easy that people are not going to confer extra costs when they have to try and move their holiday to another date, which is good. Right, now, I have to go through this next article because yesterday the British ambassador to Greece was interviewed by the Kathimerini newspaper yesterday. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you the interview that the lady did, the ambassador, Kate Smith, and let you listen to what's been said from her level as ambassador to Greece as to the situation at the moment that we find ourselves here in Greece, and also those people who wanted to go on holiday who now effectively have either cancelled their holidays or have had to think again. Right, so the British ambassador to Greece, her name is Kate Smith. She revealed in an interview to the Kathimerini newspaper here in Greece, the UK authorities have begun examining individual islands that are popular holiday destinations for the British tourists in order to evaluate whether they can be moved from the amber to the green list, which would open travellers. Wouldn't open, so that meant travellers wouldn't have to quarantine upon their safe return home. Anyway, she clarified that the strategy of the British government is to make possible the gradual restart of international travel, always bearing that the protection of the public is in mind. Anyway, Smith noted that until May the 17th, there was an international travel ban for the British, which has now been lifted. However, the British government does advise its citizens to avoid leisure travel to destinations included in the amber list, which for the time being includes Greece. Anyway, still the ambassador expresses the hope that the destinations such as Greece can be included in the green list as their epidemiology picture improves. Well, our epidemiology picture, to be honest, madam, is one of the lowest in Europe. We have done extraordinarily well. We are 16th in the vaccination programme in comparison to other European countries. So, and again, when you look at our death toll and our infection rate, it was lower than what London's has been through the whole of the pandemic. But that's by the by, all right? Anyway, she also emphasised that the British hold a special place in their hearts for Greece and thus believes that the recovery of tourism will be fast and impressive. It would have been a lot faster and a lot more impressive if we had gone onto the green, and we would be now looking forward to people arriving in their droves here on holiday as of this week coming. Anyway, she also said several British companies, airlines, tour operators, specialists and others have strongly criticised recent statements by the UK government officials against international travel. Asked if the UK ambassador could clarify whether such a directive actually exists, and I take my hat off to the person doing the interview because basically he cut straight to the nux of it. She said, the reply was, okay, so basically he was asking the question as to whether there was a directive list of basically, I was going to say that again. Several British companies and airlines, tour operators, specialists and others have strongly criticised the recent statements by the UK government officials against international travel. And basically he was asking the question whether this is a plan to keep people in the UK to spend their money there rather than coming abroad, and obviously to spend money here. Anyway, the ambassador clarified the directive and said the reply was, and this is her, we all know that this has not been a normal summer, but we want to make sure it is not like the summer of 2020 either. In fact, the way things are looking, the summer of 2020 is looking like that was a lot better than what this summer is going to be, considering we didn't have a vaccine in 2020, but that's by the by. And people weren't vaccinated by it as well. Anyway, and we also had more testing as well. But anyway, she said, we've made enormous progress this year tackling the pandemic, both in the UK and Greece. We're not at the end of it, but the signs are very hopeful. The progress has been hard won by the speed and success of the vaccination programme, the scale of testing, the sacrifice and the discipline of the public, the British, and I think the Greek government's approaches are aligned not to risk undermining that hard won success. I just hate that rhetoric. Oh, it just so aggravates me at times. Anyway, up to May the 17th, there was a stay in the UK legal prohibition on travel. Anyway, this is now lifted. The British government's approach is to gradually enable international travel to restart again while protecting public health. So while travel is now permitted, we recommend against leisure trips. Hang on a minute, we're recommending against leisure trips, but we're still allowing the airlines to fly. We're allowing the holiday companies to fly. This is where the confusion is coming in. You are not wanting it, but at the same time, you are permitting it. It's one or the other. Give clarity, then we know where we stand. So anyway, so while travel is now permitted, we recommend against leisure trips to countries listed in the red and amber categories. Caution dictates that we do everything possible to limit the continuing and significant risks. For the British government, particularly, risks are posed by variants of the virus currently and potentially in the future in circulations overseas, which could enter the UK as a result of international travel. So what you're saying then basically is that all the measures you're putting in place still doesn't keep you safe. You've had the vaccine. You test people before they fly in. You also make people quarantine when they get into the country. And still, it's not good enough to allow people to travel freely. And somebody's made a very good point. If we keep sticking down a Warren hole every time a new variant appears, we are never, ever going to come out into the light. We're just going to stay cooped up in the corner. It's a case of we live with it, we get on with it, and we let people make the decision. You've given them the vaccine. In fact, you've lied to them about having the vaccine, in the fact that having the vaccine means you have your freedom. You still don't have your freedom to travel, your freedom to do what you want to do and where you want to go. Why don't you just ban all flights from red areas into the UK? That's what you should do. That's what Greece has done. But no, you still want your cake and eat it. Because at the end of the day, at the back of it, it's about trade deals. It's about doing business with the rest of outside of Europe, etc. So therefore, you're not going to scamper any deals or anything like that by still allowing people to come in. So again, at the end of the day, make your bloody mind up. Either you want people to travel or you don't want people to travel. Your FDO rules and regulations just cause nothing but confusion and upset. And as we're seeing now, people are in the position who are able to sit it out for 90 days. That's the length of time they're allowed on their passports. They're still going to try and come. But normal families, people who've got jobs still, if they still have a job, who want to take a holiday, they are being penalised basically because of extra costs, extra quarantine time, and just the filling in the forms to be able to move about. So again, anyway, I'm digressing on there. Anyway, going back to what the ambassador had to say in clarification of the UK's feeling on everything. Caution dictates, she says, that we do everything possible to limit the continuing significant risks. For the British government, particular risks are posed by variants of virus currently and potentially in the future. Yes, let's look into the future. In circulation overseas, which could enter the UK as a result of international travel. For this reason, among other criteria, the number of destinations on the green list where the risks associated with variants is small. Most popular destinations for British tourists, Spain, Italy, France and Cyprus, as well as Greece, are in the amber list. Yes, they are in the amber list, and if you can afford the time and you can afford the money, then obviously you can go. But again, it's the confusion around it and the extra cost around it. Get your cost of your testing down. This is what the holiday companies want. The cost of testing down, the bureaucracy lift. The fact that you were told, have the vaccine, have your freedom, that has not materialised through this government at the moment. So, yeah, anyway, she says as well, we hope that many of those transition to green as we hope that many of those can transition to green as the epidemiology situation improves. The ambassador was also asked, how do you respond to criticism that the UK and other European countries, for that matter, want to discourage their citizens from travelling abroad, not only for health and safety reasons, but because they would prefer to keep their travel expenditure within their own economies? Good question, all right? And what was her answer to that question? The British government's approach is driven by public health concerns, pure and simple. Of course, we too recognise the enormous challenge the pandemic has posed for the travel and transport industry, a very important economic sector in the UK, just as in Greece. As in Greece, we have put into place a comprehensive package of business support to the sector. Right, okay, you put support into the sector. Well, we'll see how that support pans out. We still got business companies here wanting to do business and not being allowed to do business. Are they going to get bailed out? I know my partner Jane saw nothing of anything in the way of help in the tourism industry for her as an individual when her company was changed from seasonal worker to full-time, and she slipped through the net for ICA and social welfare funding payments in the winter. So again, some people might have got something, but I reckon there's a majority who got absolutely diddly squat through it all. No, a lot of people who might have been furloughed on 80% of their pay. Was great lockdown for them, but not for people who didn't get that. And especially here in Greece, we didn't see much of that here in this country, that is for sure. Anyway, going back to what the ambassador had to say, but our decisions on international travel are guided by science first and foremost. Anyway, how soon we can expect the normalisation, that is without quarantines, of travel between the UK and Greece, given the high demand for Greek holidays on the part of the UK travellers, is a question mark. Yes, a question mark. The British are a nation that thrives on travel, a nation with personal, business and cultural ties across the globe. To give you an idea, she said, in 2019, UK residents took over 93 million trips abroad. So I'm glad that the UK has taken the first tentative steps towards unlocking international travel. You haven't really unlocked international travel. If you'd unlocked international travel, you would have said your vaccine's good enough, all right? Your testing is good enough. If you want to go abroad, you go abroad. There you go. Go on your holiday. Go on your sweet way. I'm sorry, but I just feel that all this, we're protecting the nation. Listen, people have been locked down. Economies have been stifled. The British economy has been stifled. It's time to go back to work. It is time to travel. It is time to move forward. You've spent getting on now for nearly, well, it's not going to be far off 2 years at one point to actually start sorting the stuff out. We need to get back to work. We need to start earning money. People need to get out of their homes and get back in the office. All right. Some people have had too comfortable lockdown, learning how to make dough bread or even streaming or doing arts and crafts they would never have had time for. We need to get the Brits back to work. We need to get the Brits back abroad. We need to get a global footprint going again instead of hiding in our homes, waiting for the next variant to pass us by. Anyway, going back to what the ambassador said, she said, we want summer in which we can, with the tools of vaccines and testing, you've got the tools of vaccines and testing, to reunite with family and friends, travelling to places we love and resume all important personal and business contacts. We all want to start looking outward again. Let me set out how the traffic light system works. Let me say this, all right? Boris Johnson's dad. Are we going to see Boris Johnson's dad in Greece through this? Yes, you can travel for unnecessary travel or necessary travel. The vagaries. Is he going to be here for the 90 days? Is he going to go home and do the 10 days quarantine? He can afford to pay the fees on testing and everything else. It'll be interesting to see if he turns up again like he did last time. Okay. Anyway, She then goes, let me set out the traffic light system works. Ministers take their decisions on red, amber and green list assignment based on a risk assessment provided by an expert body, the Joint Biosecurity Centre. The Joint Biosecurity Centre. Just the name alone just has Orwellian feelings to it. Anyway, countries are categorised based on the risk to public health. The key criteria including testing rates, weekly incident rates, test positivity, evidence of variants of concern or high variance, other investigations into the country's exported cases, including variants of concern, the high-risk variants under investigation to the UK and elsewhere, and the geometric sequencing capability and the strong travel links with countries known to have a community transmission of Ebola value. Listen, our rate has been the lowest, all right, in Europe. The lowest death rate in Europe. The lowest I've got me there. The lowest rate of having the disease as well. Plus, we've had one of the better rates for vaccination. I think Greece has ticked all the boxes for it. I think we have shown that we are a safe destination to come to. So I really do not understand why we were not put on the green despite all her verifications. She did say, though, at the end of her interview, measures will be reviewed regularly on the basis of the latest scientific data. The next milestones are June the 28th, July the 31st, and October the 1st, all right? Milestones. What does she mean by milestones? In addition, the JBC is now beginning, where necessary, data is available to assess island destinations separately, where these are significant destinations for British travellers. Yes, we know that. We're one of these islands at the moment, all right? The guiding principles for the traffic light system is public health to the UK associated with returning travellers from overseas destinations. Listen, we're a safe environment. You come here, you've been vaccinated, you've been tested. You have to do a test to leave at the moment under the amber situation. So therefore, you go back to the country. There is no risk. What risk is there? Unless, of course, you've picked it up somewhere, maybe at the airport in the UK. But technically you shouldn't, because all the people coming from all over, they should have all been tested. They should have all been getting on flights with a vaccine. Do you know what? It's just another excuse to keep people locked down. Another excuse to get rid of vaccine that you've probably bought too much of, that now you've paid for it, you've got to get rid of it. I'm not even going to go into the vaccination of children at the moment, which is also another step on the slippery slope. Anyway, the UK government travel advice is different. It is focused on the risks that travellers can face in different locations abroad. That is why there is some differentialisation, that's her word, though not much between the two systems. What is the current regulation framework concerning UK citizens who want to come to Greece, and specifically their obligations upon their return to your country. Anyway, Greece is currently categorised as amber under the traffic light system. Anyone arriving in the UK from Greece must bring, in addition to their completed passenger located form, evidence of a negative pre-departure PCR test. They will need to self-isolate at home for a period of 10 days and then take a further PCR test on day 2 and then another one on day 8 after their arrival. And there is an option for an additional test to release on day 5 to end the set. And how much is that going to cost, and who's going to make some money on that one? Anyway, she says, and I hate this gets to me. I know this is burdensome. Oh yes, but these measures are carefully designed and necessary to protect public health. All I'm going to say is one name. Michael Gover's been away. Michael Gover's gone back into the country and he's not doing any form of quarantine. He's not doing any form of a lockdown or self-isolation. And he just willy-nilly, because I'm too busy saving lives in the country, I'm going to go back to work. So there's a hypocrisy for a start from the top. And from the top, the people at the bottom do as we say, but don't do as I do. Anyway, she says, do you think that the post-pandemic recovery of tourism flows between our two countries will take more than a year or two to normalise? That's a question. No, not the way you're doing things at the moment. What would normalise things is if you were to say, right, Greece, you're on the green, off you go, enjoy your holiday, come home, and obviously that's it. Just come home. There you go. Get back to work, start the economy turning and burning again. Let's make some money and let's obviously get back to some normality. Oh, and can I hug Granny now as well? So again, I very much doubt it, she says, as this year's bookings and the most recent evidence of normal years shows 3.6 million visitors from the UK in 2019. Greece is well established, a favoured destination for the Brits. All you need is Greece, is a definite message that will resonate. Oh my God, here we go. This is it. Let's sell Greece. All we need is Greece. All we need is freedom, madam. That's what we want. And a clear understanding of where we can go and what we can do. Anyway, all you need is Greece, a definite message that will resonate with my compatriots as it does with me. The Greek offer wonderful climate, food and drink. The sun, the sea, the landscapes have been familiar and enjoyed for decades. Recently, British tourists have begun to enjoy alternative tourism, developing Greece to a hiking and cycling in the... do you know what? I can't read anymore. The bullshit absolutely just staggers me. So anyway, that's your ambassador to the UK, all right, here in Greece. Obviously, not putting up much of a case, if you ask me, just reinforcing the rhetoric from London. And again, everybody is just sat here waiting. I could see lots of comments, and I'm hoping that I can actually read these comments, and my tablet that's been playing up is going to let me do that. Julie White said, I bet the fans of the Euro football, which starts next week, don't have to isolate for 10 days. We should be at the airport to protest when they arrive. They not even staying long enough to have the 5 days test. I think it stinks. Thank you for that, Julie. I've got to be honest, I was talking to my son yesterday, and my son works for Luton County Council, and Luton County Council own Luton Airport at the moment. He's a big football fan. He's telling me at the moment the way that they're running the Euro Cup this year, because it's a 50th anniversary, is in effect everybody's hosting the Euro 50 this year. This had been planned before. Normally a country would host it, but for the 50th anniversary, everybody is having bits in their own country to spread it about, which in some ways has helped. But again, it's the fact that it's still going ahead. This is the thing. Sport seems to be allowed to go ahead because of the amount of money that it generates. Again, to the corporations, to the big media corporations, Sky, etc. However, the holiday companies, they could still do with having the same freedom that the bloody football is having. But no, they're not. They are all obviously bound by the rules that the government seem to want to put in place. Again, Julie White now just says they're allowing 10,000 fans to come in for obviously a game in the UK against Croatia. All right. Let's have a quick look. I'm just going to scroll up. I'm only going to read out the comments. Thank you to all those people that are tuning in. I know this broadcast is going on longer than first anticipated, but I'm just looking to see what comments have been raised by people as I'm scrolling down. David Lismore says, morning, Ginge. Looks like another lovely day here in Enfield. I'm pleased about that for you, fella. It's another lovely day here in Zakynthos, to be honest. We just could have done with Brits arriving. That's all. We got every man and his dog arriving. We have got Brits arriving. There are EasyJet flights in today, and there is a British Airways flight in today, and Jane is meeting a couple of those flights tonight, okay, as part of her job with Fidelity Travel. Anyway, I'm just looking down. I'm sure I saw lots of comments. Dave Linsmore, I've already read that one. Do you know what? I feel like some ways your comments are being censored. I'm going to be able to read these once I finish my broadcasts. And to be honest, that is just becoming very frustrating at the moment when you're trying to get people's feedback. Anyway, Lorna Green says, Gant says, it all stinks. We've done everything they've asked of us. They just keep moving the goalposts. Yeah, there you go. They're just controlling. Oh, God, they're just controlling. Do you know what? Oh, I do apologise for this. Do you know what? I never, ever had problems with, shall we say, giving comments. But in this last week, when I'm doing a live broadcast and I come to try and read your comments, I don't know whether it's a fault on my tablet, a setting issue. I just cannot actually re-emphasize some of your comments as to what is being said at the moment. And it is, honestly, it is so frustrating. It's beyond annoying. And again, a lot of people are in agreement with what I'm saying. Thank you for that. I just wish I could read out your comments, and not only comments from people within the UK, but comments from people from other countries like Sweden, etc., and also from America and Australia as well. Oh, God. Do you know what? I'm going to bang it on the head there. Can I just say thank you for tuning in? Once again, I will look at your comments online when this broadcast gets posted up. But as you can see, I'm very disappointed with what's going on, not only from the British government's perspective, but also from the Greek government perspective as well. I'm hoping that maybe next week Mitsotakis will have some kind of thought about what's been going on. You can't have people coming on holiday being told, oh, no, we can't have music in a bar. We can't have commentary on football on a bar. We can't let you inside of a bar. And we want you to go to bed at 12:30 and not wander the streets because everything's closed. So, again, if you're going to take people's money for a holiday, give them a bloody holiday. That's all I'm saying. Already, people are vaccinated. We're a safe island. People are supposed to have been vaccinated or had PCR tests before they arrive. They are no threat. If you remember last year, when tourism came, we had practically no infections from the tourists coming in. No infections at all in comparison to infections that were being spread about by the local population themselves on the islands of Santorini and the islands of Mykonos, who were bringing infection from Thessaloniki, passing it there, and then passing it and bringing it back across the country, but not from tourists coming from outside of the country, which was first feared. And if you want to check those stats, just look online and you'll find them. Anyway, that's it from me. What am I doing today? Well, Jane and I will potter about. Jane is down at the airport to meet flights this evening from the UK. It's going to be interesting to see how many people actually still decided that they're going to come, now knowing that they have to quarantine when they go back. They have to pay for 3 tests, 1 to leave the country from here, and then another 2 once they're in the UK. It will be interesting to see how many people still come on their holiday with those rules now being re-emphasised that they must abide when they leave. But anyway, I'll keep my ear to the ground. Thanks for tuning in. And if I get any good news, trust me, I'll let you hear it. But other than that, I wish you well. Catch you later. Ta-ra.